Good morning, cyber traders. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Good to see you all. Good to see you, Alita. Good to see you, John. Juth, good to see you, everyone. Welcome back. All right. Looks like we're having a couple of good little movers. Thank God Tuesday's here. Got a little bit of a correction here. We're down to about 254 on the Dow a little bit. Got a couple of good movers. I got one stock I'm looking forward to talking to. I was talking about this for a while. Remember, we just don't day trade here. We do some swing trades, and there's been a really good stock I want to talk about. We haven't been showing it too much in the cyber group room because you'll see when we get to it. But just remember, everybody, a couple of big news are coming out this week. Today is going to be Traders Talk with Josh at 11 o'clock. So if you're watching on YouTube or Instagram or any of our channels on social media, we will broadcast live on it, and you will also be able to, join us if you want. Everyone, remember, we sent out an email on it to staff and to the students. If you have any questions regarding some topics, please fill out that. And it doesn't have to be long, one sentence. If there's anything, and then we'll cover it in our class. But let's go over and talk about what's happening in the news, more or less in the news, but what's happening, over today. Now, I want to go talk a little bit about oil. Okay, so a lot of the gas stocks and oil stocks have done well. If you haven't noticed, gas has gone up a lot. All right, and we don't really talk too much about it because as a trader, we don't trade oil, but there are stocks out there that do trade, some ETFs out there. Boyle on the other hand did unbelievable yesterday. You could see that stock went from like 62 all the way to 67. You can see it right here. This is a big reverse stock split right here. We went from like 290 all the way up to 63. I think it was like a 15-to-1 stock reverse stock split. But the stock was in the high prices. I mean, even though at that price, if you go back here, the stock was at 120 and came all the way back down to about $2. So it was down about $118. And then did a reverse stock split. So this thing is probably in like the thousands. But it does up a lot of oil stocks that do pretty well. It's down a little bit today. I think it was down $1 last time I checked. But you know what? Now people starting to talk about it. And remember, as a trader, how we trade today's markets. We want volatility because what's going to happen is forget about the gas and everything else and oil and all that stuff. Us as traders, those catastrophes make opportunities. So with that happen, it does affect the market. But a couple of the stocks also I want to touch upon that did pretty well yesterday, and you could see some of them. This one was. I don't know if you guys watched my Instagram on this one. I did post this on Instagram and on YouTube. But look at this stock right here. This stock in pre-market was, I haven't seen something like this in probably years. But it was at roughly around $2. And it ran all the way to about to 60. It was up almost like 3,000%. It just took off. And when we were doing yesterday's meeting around 9 o'clock, and if you want to go back, watch the video on it on YouTube, when we did the morning meeting, but look at it. We saw the stock around 25. When we ended our meeting, then all of a sudden out of nowhere, this thing just popped and just took off. Now, granted, it can't get halted in pre-market, only in market hours. But this stock, let me tell you, it was scary. It was fast. But if you were one of the advanced traders, you probably did pretty well. No Flex, you don't see my screen? You should be able to see the screen. Let me stop it and just share screen again. Hold on one second. If you cannot see my screen, there we go. We'll do that again. Just let me know. All right, good. All right, so now regarding that stock was, like I said, off the charts. I don't think anyone here has ever probably seen a stock like VTGN before. Now, a couple of the stocks also moved pretty well yesterday. There was this one right here, SVEFD. That one was great right at the gate at the open. Got halted a couple of times. $1. It's about 240. Another stock up 100%. Another one is up 100%. BSFC. This stock was took a little bit longer to get there, but right around that 10:30. Then finally we had that big pop from like 119 all the way to $2. Another great one. Tupper. This stock has not only been a good day trade, but it's been a great swing trade. And even as a long-term, even as more of an investment that's been happening. Well, I don't like the word investment. Call it a swing. But you can see Tupper had good move, 440 over to 520. That was another one. Sage, that was a really good short. That thing just got hammered. $60, $50, $35. Remember I told you yesterday about my book that I was going to come out and change the name from How to Beat Market Makers at Their Own Game, then to be No Overnights. This is the reason why you don't hold overnights. Lab, that one also, another ETF, great ETF. That thing just took off, went from 15 up to 16, and it's pushing up again. I'm going to throw this one back on the watch list. Okay, LABD. All right, and obviously Boyle. So before we get into our watch list, I just want to cover about two things, and then we'll get into it. Okay, now first of all, I know we have a lot of students in here, and I want to ask everybody their honest question. And there are people here that are starting, and this is something I kind of like. I'm just kind of going off script what we do here at Cyber Train University, but I want to kind of share, and I want everyone to share their thoughts on this. But a lot of you here are there's very few trial members. There's people watching on social media, but then there are people here that are new students and that are starting to be new students CTU. Now, if you remember when you started and you started coming in here, even as a trial member, did this scare the hell out of you? I mean, like all of a sudden, when you got into trading, you look at it and be like, man, this is too scary. I can't do this. Has everyone had that issue? Grant, you had that issue, and you've been with me for a very long time. Anyone else? Anyone had that? Alex, you've been there. And Alex, look where you are today. Hell yeah, it sucks, Mark. Brent, Lewis. Now, I want you guys to see this chat that's coming in, because there are people. There was one person I spoke to yesterday was thinking about bailing because he says, you know what, Faust, this is crazy. I'm like, you are now officially seeing the market trade, as it's trading. And then now when you look at Apple, like, oh, Apple's not that bad. But now when you see the market actually trading, you're like, holy crap, this is too fast. It's too dangerous. That's why we do what we do, because that's why you won't see us trade certain stocks like this. Now, granted, there are some slower stocks and there's some fast stocks. If you get good at it, you're going to want to trade a fast stock. When it's slower, when you're new, we're going to push some slower ones so you can get your feet wet and get the butterflies out. But Lita says, looks so easy until you got into your first and you own real money. Very well said, Lita. And Lita's been with me for, I don't even know, was it 6 years now, 7 years? Carol, it was confusing and I felt it was too much. Okay, Antonio, yes, but your education helped us so much. So you could see the emails. And I'm like I said, I told the person yesterday, I'm not going to bring up your name in the room, but he said, listen, he's only been there for about 2 weeks, and he just freaked out. He's like, my God, this is just too crazy. And I know exactly what you mean. And that's why you need to see what's a fast stock and a slow stock. And if you're watching on social media, I think you guys need to know this too. You know what I mean? What you're getting yourself involved in. And that's why we always tell everybody, do a trial first, see what's going on. Let us talk to you and we'll explain it to you more in detail. And then, you know what, we'll get the butterflies out. So I want to just kind of take a step back and just kind of mention that, because I was really concerned, and I go through this conversation with everyone. It's like the number one concern people have. And I'm actually going to do a YouTube video on it too, explaining the fear of trading. But if you got the need and you want to do this, you got to know how to play the game, and you got to know what you're getting yourself involved in, because you should be shitting in your pants when you see some of these stocks like Tesla and Apple and, Intel and Microsoft. All these stocks that you think like, oh, they're not that bad. And then you get sold, a bag of marbles, that, well, don't, of course they're fast. So trade the options. Now you're really going to drive yourself, in a loop of getting yourself in big, big trouble. So education is key, Grant. Carol, CTU is good about listing stocks and all the levels in the watch list each day. Yeah, once you get the education, you'll see things clearer. There you go, Alex. That's true. That's what I was saying. Once you get the education and you take the time and you take your feet wet, remember, this is not a sprint. It's a marathon, I always tell you. So I just want to take that out, because I think a lot of people need to hear that. And I think some of the new trial members have probably experienced that. And also on social media, I think you guys need to know that too. Now let's go through the watch list. Okay, sorry about going on a rant like that, but it was something that I wanted to kind of share with everybody. Now, let's go out there and look what's going on this morning, because there are a couple of good stocks that are moving. I want to start off with the stock called Drug. So drug, big move up, very inexpensive, 68%, up $2, $5 stock right now. The stock was literally, you could see it was at 60 cents. It gapped up over here, and then it's on a big move. It's got some good iceberg orders. The only concern I have is this is what gets scary. You think the stock is cheap, it's tradable, but it's got very small tier sizes, which is what we teach you in phase one, which you got to be cautious. So this stock could be just as fast and as dangerous as like a Tesla you pay at 200-300. So I'm putting it on a watch list. So if you're an advanced trader, this might be up your alley. But if you're new here, don't look at drug as something that is going to be tradable for you. Here's another stock that's moving. It just showed up on the radar just now. It just moved just now recently, just now 20%, 800,000 shares. This one looks a little bit more tradable, something a little bit more controllable. ONDS, don't know what it does, don't really care. Okay, other than if I can make 20, 30, 40 cents on it on 1,000 shares, make my 300-400, that's more than enough for me. Another one that came up on the radar is this one, GRRR. Now this one, it has some, I could see already starting to build a ladder effect. You could see it right here, big iceberg order right around here, around $2. Not a lot, maybe because it's pre-market, but it did trade about 3.9 million shares. This one looks a little bit more tradable and a little bit more controllable. What else I had on my list? We already know about that one. Yeah, this one, SILO. So this one had a big order showed up right around $3, $3.50, right around here. You can see that pre-market, and you can see right here that's that order right there that I'm looking at right here. Once he showed up, now the stock came back down. But buyers started to show up here around $2.50. That's a pretty substantial drop. $3.60 down to $2 in about 15 minutes. Once again, don't think a $2 stock is not a volatile stock. So it's not as comfortable as the other ones, but it's nice. Now, Tilray is also moving up pretty decent today. Tilray is a little bit easier. It can get fun once in a while, but Tilray takes a lot of shares to move it. You could see already trade 2 million shares, and you can see here in pre-market, we're talking 97,000, 85,000. You know, it's trading in that range. So for some of you advanced traders, you might have to trade more shares of it. But Tilray, you know what? It's in the news, and we'll keep an eye on it. What else I got here? Okay, so on the New York Stock Exchange, we got this stock that's moving up pretty big right here. It's up about 270%. No, that's not a mistake, okay? That is actually real. And the stock was right around 60 cents, ran to $2. Very strong stock. It was a $14 stock at the beginning of the year. The stock got destroyed. Obviously, the news that came out on it is phenomenal. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. We'll post in the Cyber Group room, but she is moving up pretty well. I was hopping over here looking at level 4, and I could see that there are some big orders that did get filled. So listen, BURU, just the only thing I would be a little concerned to traders that it's up 260%. So let's not get too cocky and let's not get too greedy on it, but it did trade 20 million shares already in pre-market, 21 to be exact. So that one also looks pretty good. Now, one other stock I just want to point out that also is moving is NVO. Now, does everybody know what this company does? NVO. It's up. We're not going to day trade it, but this stock was on my watch list. We posted it. It was a swing trade that we did. Does everybody remember the stock? I talked about it, you know, back in June, and then also in July. It's a drug company, right? It's a diabetes stock. This is Ozempic. Now, forget about the diabetes aspect of it, okay? This stock is the drug stock that everyone's buying from Hollywood. Even Elon Musk took on it to lose weight. It's the new weight drug. It's not forget about the diabetes drug, because that's what it's actually was made for. But now they're subscribing it as the new Wegovy and Ozempic. You could see how much that stock went up. So if you were in the swing trade that we talked about, because listen, you got to follow what's going on out there. You see what happened here. The stock literally was up about 13%, up $21. So if you got in, I mean, we were talking back here in February, but if you was stuck in here in this limbo in June around that 160, 150, and you have it, you're looking pretty damn good right now. So once again, do we do only day trading? No, we also do swing trading in here also, and some options. And we do trade some expensive stocks. You know, we do plan on some people that can't be here all day to watch. and that was one of them. So that was a pretty good trade right there. I don't know if anyone got onto it, but I did. So pretty excited about, hopefully what happened. It actually popped right at 6 o'clock this morning too also. So anyway, if you heard about it, you hear about it. Listen, if you haven't learned anything from what happened with COVID with Moderna, I mean, you can go back to my video on CTU's website. I was talking about Moderna when it was at $28. I was on NASDAQ, and look where it went with the 500. As much as you might not think so, this is what you have to look at. So some drug companies do really well, but then we also know some drug companies don't do too well and they get crushed. So anyway, that's the watch list right here. And we'll put NVO on that list too. But let's go out there and let's say if we see something, you see some traders. Once again, if you're watching on social media, we'll be back again at 11 o'clock on Traders Talk. So don't forget to send in your questions if you're in the cyber group room. And you know what? Just remember what I talked about this morning about for new traders and new students. It's going to get scary. It's getting nervous. You might freak out. Don't worry about it. Things will slow down, and by you doing your one-on-one coaching with us, and by you doing all your setting up your platforms and finding what's tradable or not, and getting through the first T, which is tradable, is going to be your future of success when it comes to trading. All right, guys. Good luck, everyone. Happy trading, and we'll see you when the market opens up in less than 15 minutes. So don't go anywhere.